Ikwerre n'otu anụ mmekọahụ dị ala. Ikwerre anụ mmekọahụ dị ala. Ikwerre anụ mmekọahụ dị ala. Ikwerre n'otu anụ mmekọahụ dị ala. Obekwu ọha ikwerre n'otu bụ mgbannọ. To greet Ikwerre people, especially in the public or using any public platform, you have to do that about 4 times. And that's exactly what I have just done. I have greeted my people about 4 times. My name is Dr. Alex British Chinedu Tasie from Ishopo Ancient Kingdom, which is in Ikwerre local government area of Rivers State of Nigeria, West Africa. And by the grace of God, I am a writer, a musician, a filmmaker, a football coach, a historian, and a multidimensional thinker. I am also a self-appointed, self-acclaimed president of the Nigerian semi-educated class. The class of the Nigerian people that you say and think is not highly educated, is not well educated. I am a proud, self-appointed, self-acclaimed president of that group, that class in Nigeria. I am a prominent and pronounced Ikwerre historian, and I am simply called a professor of native intelligence and medical dialogue. What I have here to discuss about is chieftaincy making in Ikwerre land. Chieftaincy making in Ikwerre land. How Ikwerre people make their chiefs traditionally. The world we live in is changing, and some people say it has already changed. It has drifted away from the original, from the traditional way of life of the people of Ikwerre land and even elsewhere, to a life that people today call modern life. And as a scholar, a writer that is creative, the question that I ask always becomes, who is modeling our modern world? Whose handiwork is framing and shaping what we call today a modern world? And I leave you to go and ponder about this all-important question. And so many people, especially academic people, heap blames upon blames on the shoulders of the white people as being the reason why our world is becoming depraved and corrupt. They call it Occidental influences, splashes, propagations, and what actually have the people of this part of the world been doing to counter that? Another question. So generally, things are changing. People are drifting away from the original way of life of their people to a way of life that is alien. And one of those ways of life or practices, traditional practices of the people, that is commuting to another sphere, is that of chieftaincy making in Ikwerre land. In the olden days, when I mean olden days, it simply means many years ago, before our time, before the present time. People did things the right way. And how things were done in the community mattered. But today, the people who call themselves modern people say it doesn't matter anymore. And things are degenerating from worst to worst. In Ikwerre land, for smooth political as well as traditional administration of the land, certain persons in the community before now were accorded, were apportioned, were given certain responsibilities in the community to take charge of. People were separated, not because they were, the most important of all the lots, but because the society was arranged in a manner where there was the led and the leader, the ruled and the ruler. So people generally gave out their consent to other people to lord over them, to rule them, and to lead them. It was not a mandate from God Almighty for man to rule fellow men. No. God arranged the world originally for him to rule man from above, from on high. But man generally now decided that the society should be organized in a way where certain people stood at the upper level and the others at the lower level. So consent was given to actualize, to fructify this arrangement. In Ikwerre land, as like many other societies all over the world, some people ruled and others obeyed, stayed as their subjects. So how were they selected? How were they appointed? How were they made to rule their fellow human beings? In Ikwerre land, the people agreed unanimously that the society might be chaotic, unsettled, unarranged, also might go into disarray if everybody becomes a leader, a ruler, and no one becomes the led and the ruled. And so they allow some people the prerogatives to rule over other people. And so the Nyechali emerged through this consent of the general people willingly, unanimously to give out their rights to an individual and also a group of other people assisting to administer politically over the land. So in Ikwerre land, at that strata of leadership in the community stayed the Nyechali. In the past, in Ikwerre land, there was nothing like Nyenwe Ale. There was no king or paramount ruler addressed, titled, styled as Nyenwe Ale, because in those days, the ancients believed that no human being had the powers, had the authority to own the land. Only God, who created the land, owned the land. And so, they never called or addressed anybody as Nyenwe Ale, the owner of the land. No. Instead, what they called the person that they presented as their leader, as their ruler at that time was Nyechali. Nyechali, the ruler of the land, the ruler of the community, and not Nyenwe Ale. And in the Ikwerre land, Nyechali was never addressed or called Eze. As we have it today, His Royal Highness, Eze this, Eze that. No. At that time, no Ikwerre paramount ruler or king was called Eze. And it is also pertinent to know this, that Ikwerre people were not leftists like some European countries. The British people, the Spanish and all that, where women called queens rule them. They are leftists. People have never been leftists. We are right things. We do the right things. Traditionally in Ikwerre land, a woman does not rule the people. But in Great Britain, in Spain, a woman rules the men. That is abomination, to the people of this world, this part of the world. A woman can't rule us. No. But in Great Britain, maybe many other European countries that are leftists, women lorded over, some of those societies. So, the men folk were given the authority to rule the land. So, there was no traditional ruler, no traditional paramount ruler or king called Eze. Eze simply means a big man, a big person, a rich person, someone that is wealthy in the land, in the community. So, traditionally, especially in Ikwerre, the prerogative to become the Nyechali of the community was not done based on the consideration of being wealthy. No. That was not a consideration that you must be rich for you to become the near Charlie in Ikwerre land? No, because it was done mostly based on hereditary. So the person must emerge through the lineage of the legitimate sons, of the founder of the community. That's it. The consideration there is that you must be a legitimate and original member of the community, especially from the bloodline of the founder of that community, and mostly from the eldest. Like in Ishopo, it is the eldest village that produces the next child in Ishopo. They say Nyewale, they say and order next child Ishopo. The legitimate children connected to the progenitor, to the general ancestor of the community, emerge, the next child in Ikwerre when the time is due for that. There was nobody from the blood of the slave elements that was allowed to rule the people. Even from the smallest family units, whether the slave was freed or not, his children were not eligible, qualified to rule the legitimate members of the community. It was an abomination to happen, and it never happened. Yes. So, people emerged as naturally through hereditary, connected to the first heir of the founder of that community. Ele Alemasirim. People who come to a place and integrate, like the place, and decide a part of it, cannot be made near Charlie in Ikwerre land. Their children cannot also, no matter the positions they hold in life, cannot dare to rule the legitimate people. And that was one of the reasons why King Jaja of Opobo left Bonny Island, the Grand Bonny. He wanted to lord over the legitimate members of the Amapepo family, Kenuk War House. He was pushed out. He left with other 7 members to found what we call today Opobo land. So people don't know this history. I am a foundational historian. So generally in Ikwerre land, children of the slave elements cannot rule the legitimate people. No. At best, they can be called what they call Mbasi Ikwerre, the second hand. In fact, I don't want to go deep into that. So that was how the Nyechia emerged in those days. Like in Ishopo, with the assistance of the gods of the land, someone can be chosen to replace, a diseased, paramount ruler or whatever in Ishopo land. So human beings, liars, with the spirits of the dead, the ancestors of the land, to choose someone befitting, for that position, but not necessarily based on money, education, and some of the Western considerations that people, consider nowadays. No. So at that ladder, because there's what we call traditional strata of government in Ikwerre's traditional government. So at that highest layer or ladder stays the Nyechia and his council members. And how are the council members chosen? How are they made? They are never made by appointment or by selection. The Nyechale is like the president in our modern, definition and arrangement. Then the villages that make up the community, not now that when you go to many Ikwerre areas, you don't know the one that's a community, you don't know the one that is even a village. Even small families are now claiming to be communities. But generally in Ikwerre, we have community, we have village, we have kindred. That's the arrangement in the community. So the various traditional heads of the villages that constitute that community are also people that will come from legitimate bloodlines. They must be connected to the ancestor of that village. And the ancestor of that village must be connected to the ancestor of the entire community. So the various heads are also integrated into the traditional council. They form what we call the Council of Ministers, the Executive Council of the Nyechale. And all together, they form the traditional government of the community. Yes. So they form Elenwe Oha. They own now the public because generally the people have given their consent that so people are different worlds, are different strata, in the society, should be given the responsibilities to rule them. So they become Ele Oha. Elenwe Oha, originally. Elenwe Oha. That's what they were called in those days. Elenwe Oha. Now Eloha. So they now also meet with the Nyechale to expand the council so that the government of the community can reach even to the lowest layer, the bottom of the community. Then we are also people at that time called Ele Oji Oho. Ele Oji Oho are more traditional than political, though they are in charge of their various kindreds. They must also come from the legitimate bloodline of the community. People who have strange blood in them can never be considered to be given, the title of Ojowo. So an Ojowo can also be part of the central government of the community. They are integrated. So time to time, they commune with the gods of the land. As like the traditional heads of the various villages that make up the community also have the spiritual as well as, the political authority of the various villages that they had. So they now all form the traditional council. After all these groups being part of the executive council of the Nyechale are also people who have made it big in the community. People who have made money in the community. And they are called Eleze. Eleze, people who are rich, who are wealthy. Eze means a rich person, a wealthy person. And they are also giving community honors, community recognition, or community title by the traditional government of the community to be also part of the traditional government of the community. Their own role is based on advisory level. They do not have any hand in the traditional affairs or spiritual affairs of the community. They are there to advise and also to assist where funding is necessary. You see why they are brought to become part of the traditional council? Because the community will need their funding to do one or two things. So they recognize them. For you to be considered as an Eze into the traditional council of the community, there are two major considerations. One, you must be very wealthy. And two, your wealth must reflect on the people of the community. Yes, you are rich. You must use your wealth to help the people of the community, the indigent members of the community, those that are impaired in one way or the other, those that are affected in one way or the other. You are required to help to balance them off, to help them stand on their feet. That is the reason why the community will recognize you as an Eze. It is not enough to be rich, and you are only rich for yourself and your family, and you go to take community title, community honor. It never happened in those days. It was not part of the traditional setting of Ishopo people and the entire Ikwerre people. It was abhorrible to be done that way. It wasn't. So you now have emerged as a big person, yes, and nobody feels the impact of your money. Nobody feels the impact of your wealth. You only attend to yourself and your family members. And now you come to take community honor. Joe. It never happened that way in the past. If you are rich, you will use your money to help the community, help the land, give electricity to the community, construct roads, bridges to the people, help to train people who come from poor family backgrounds, establish businesses for those that do not have the funding to do that. That is why you are Nyeze. And that is why the community will now have to recognize you as Nyeze, somebody that is imposing, somebody that is big. And of course, the community will be proud of you. But in this case, you have money. It is only for yourself and your immediate family. And you are coming to take community honor. Joe. Obo menale Ikwerre obaro. People are paying money, bribe, to be made a community chief. Don't you know that the title they are giving to you, the honor they are giving to you, belongs to the people of the community? Don't you know? It is not the private property of Nyechale or Nyenwale or whatever. It is not his own. The Nyechale or Nyekwale or Nyenwale or the Pramatula or the Eze or whatever has no constitutional power, has no traditional powers on his own to make anybody a chief in the community. That must be done in agreement with every stakeholder based on the qualifications that you have. You must use your money, your connections to help people. But look at it. Go to Ishopo in the year of 2024, they are the making chiefs. Go and access the people that they are making chiefs. Ask them what they have done for the community. Ask them. People that have not even come to where people gather and give them even a bottle of beer each are made community chiefs because they paid money. How do you read their citations in the public? What are you going to tell the people that they did for the people? Before now, the people they made chiefs in Ishoku and so many others were people that were qualified. They are qualified. You work in government, you use your position to help people. You give them jobs. You are into private business, you train so many people, you empower so many people. You made the chief. You use your connections, you use your money to help to protect the image of your community. You can be considered. There were so many people in the past in Ikwerre that were made chiefs, not because they gave money to people, but because they helped to protect the image of Ikwerre land, their communities. People like the late Chief S.A.J. Wachukwu, the late Chief E.A.D. Aleko, they helped. They fought for the creation of River State. They helped to project the image of Ishoku and Ikwerre. When there were foreign aggressions against Ikwerre people, they came out. People like Emmanuel Origidem, Wobidike Wanode, Barrister Sam, late, Dr. Obi Wale, Captain Lechi Amadidem, they came out. In the past, war generals were recognized, given chieftaincy titles, because they went to defend the territorial borders of Ikwerre land. Today, we don't fight wars like that. So the new one now is a campaign that you do to protect your people. People do that. But you don't do anything. You are a chief, community chief. Why? When people ask you, what did you do for your people, for your community to give you a chief? What are you going to tell them? You will tell them that you are a professor, or you are a politician, or you work in a company. That's what we're going to tell them, and that's why you are taking community honor. Some people, because they build story buildings, they say now they are going to be made chiefs. Let me tell you, if I had wanted to become a chief in Ikwerre, I would have bagged more than 6 chieftaincy titles from various Ikwerre communities. As a Professor S.M. Weke of Iguta community wanted to make me a chief in Iguta in the year of 2018. The late Eze Ambassador Ogunduwale of Omademe community wanted to make me a chief in his community in 2012. The late Eze Ambassador G.C. Onyeka of Omudioga invited me and my wife to make me a chief in Omudioga 2013. The late Eze Ohiachukwu of Romodara wanted to make me a chief in Romodara 2012. The late Eze Mekwa, Ferdinand Elene Kenta of Obakere wanted to make me a chief 2013. So many of them. But I declined those, honors and all that. Why? I believe I have not done enough to be given a chieftain's title. What for? Yes, they wanted to make me a chief because I am an image maker for the entire Ikwerre, but I still see that it is not enough. What have you done? I settled chieftaincy problems in about 11 communities in Ikwerre land. Want me to mention? Women, Odigo and Deji, CNDD and Oketi, Ebeda, Igruta, Weke and Honeywall, Omanelu, Ioma, and the Mamadike family. They even brought in Beatrice Onchekwa all the way from London with her brother Clement and Maybe he's alive. Go and ask him. They came to my house. Nishobo. The Elewa family and the other family. Ezerugu, Jobs Nuche, in Elimu, so many. I went to Sonik to settle chieftaincy titles. They would have made me a chief. That's why some of them wanted me to make chief. I said, I didn't want that. You build house. So many people today that I know in Ikwerre, if not that Rotimi and Mechi came on board as governor, and yes, Sonwike came on board as governor, so many of the people today who parade as big people today in Ikwerre would not have bought even bicycle. I know so many of them. All that they parade is government money. The money that they steal, the money that they dash to them, based on their own hustling, hard work, they would not have even reached Cotonou. I know some that went to Brazil to watch ball because yes, we can pay this thing for them, ticket for them. Some built houses because they gave them money. I built my house in the year of 2007, internship. And what people call today duplex. I built my own duplex in the year of 2011 in the township. 2011, and by the year of 2011, so many people I know in Ikwerre today who call themselves politicians, who are big people today, we are just beggars. But I declined because I'm not up to. In many parts of Igbo land, it is not because you built a house, because you went abroad, because you are leveraging your father's wealth, because you sold land, they make you a chief. No, you can't do that in Anambra. You can't do that in Ohafia and Abreba. You can do that in many other Igbo land. But these three areas, you cannot generally. Why should you take a community honor when you have not done anything for your people? What are you going to tell people? What are you proud of to say publicly? See what I did, though, to take community honor. They are making you a chief. The paramount ruler is making you a chief. As I had, some people paid money. Somebody told me that even Nelele, some people paid 2 million naira to be made a chief. Why? See the way they are bastardizing everything. Drifting away from the original and traditional way of life of the great people into what is useless, senseless, and nonsensical. I am a historian. It is my job to bring forth the mistakes of yesterday so that people of today can guide their future with that. It is also my job to highlight the good things of the past so that people can take more encouragement in them and improve. What am I going to document to the people of tomorrow, people that will come in the future, how they make chiefs in Ishopo, in Ikwerre land? What am I going to tell them as a Ikwerre historian? That people are paying bribe, people are taking money, paying money to be made chief, inducing the traditional council to make them chiefs, to give them community honor. Many of you are lucky that some people did not go to court to stop that. You would have done nothing, or you kill everybody. What you are doing there is for the community. It's owned by the community. No paramount ruler has the constitutional powers, the traditional powers to give any person a chief by himself. It is a lie, it cannot. So, that is how it is. It is not good. People are drifting away from the original way of life. It is not good. One day, somebody who has money can go and pay bribe and become a traditional ruler in Ishopo or in any part of Ikwerre. Somebody can have connection, depose the incumbents, and take over. Usurp the powers of the traditional council and take over. Because he has a connection, he has money, he is highly educated. These things are not consideration that he went abroad. I have gone to about 7 countries of the world, self-sponsored. I've written about 10 books. What for? I have not done enough. I have not done anything for my people. All that I'm doing, yes, I'm doing to make sure that Ikwerre is Ikwerre. Nobody intimidates Ikwerre from anywhere. That is what I'm doing. And I'm ready to do it. But that is not enough to say, I want to become a chief. For what? It is not good. I have to advise the traditional governments in various Ikwerre communities to adhere to the traditional pattern of the people, the original way of life of Ikwerre people. Before you make anybody a chief, verify, profile the person, sterilize the person very well, find out what he or she has done for the people. Because they are going to form part of the traditional government of the community. The people they did in the past, look at Eze, Dr. Engineer Wenendampi, did well for Shobo people. Chief Nnamatu did wonderfully well. Chief Mike Obaranta did wonderfully well. Look at those people did well. The late Eze Eso Amadi used his company to employ some people, so build houses for some people there. The people of today, what have they done? What have they done to give them chieftaincy titles in Ikwerre? To make them chiefs in Ishobo land? What have they done? They pay money. So if I pay money, you make me a chief. So anybody now that builds upstairs or story building, that drives a big car, that goes to abroad, that becomes professor, that means in the next 10 years, almost everybody will become a chief in Ikwerre now. Because almost everybody would have been able to get at least that money to pay. And you make him a chief. You make her a chief. What is sacred today is bastardized. It's not good. It's not fair. And Papata Agwama. Papata Agwama, life is not ending today. You have something that you must leave for the people of tomorrow to know about today. Do the right thing. Do the right thing. People who have done abhorrible things, taboo things in the community, still give them chieftaincy titles. People who are very, very stingy, they cannot do round table. You know what is called round table? Come to Guta land, it's called round table. They have never done it before. Round table, only round table. And they are chiefs. They cannot give you a lift. They cannot see you on the way and say, my brother, enter my vehicle. They are chiefs. Community chiefs. Why not allow them to take their own chiefs and answer chiefs and they let them go like that? Why give them community chiefs? That's my concern. What you're giving them is what the people own, the property of the people, not your property as Nyenwale or Nyechale or Brahman Place, not your property. You are not the owner of what you are doing and what you are giving out. It belongs to the people of Ishobo, the people of Ikwerre. For Bakre, it's what you own. If I'm Guta, it's Guta own. So what you are doing, somebody can stop it. Somebody can stop it legally. And we'll fight it out. Ameka Dial. My name again is Dr. Alex British Chinedu Tasie, Ikwerre indigene, the most pronounced Ikwerre historian. You want to reach me with this phone number. That's also my WhatsApp number. Plus 234 806 369 3609. Ameka Chineke Goziano Mama.